What's up, everybody? How's it going? And thank you for listening to the Whatcast. Mike, things are fucking weird. Things have been weird for a long time.
Yeah, we live in a weird world where weird things happen.
Yeah, so I think we're due for a weird news episode. There's been some weird things going on that beckon some discussion.
Yeah, I'd say so. Can we start with the exploding pillars to the New World Order?
Yeah, dude, I gotta tell you, I cannot believe how shocked I was when I woke up to see that someone had blown up the Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, who was it though?
The fishmen are trying to defeat the lizard men now. We're caught in the crosshairs of an interspecies war on our own soil.
Yeah, these are not only weird times, but dangerous times. So I heard a fun thing with it. Like, people are saying like that whoever did it is like a anti-NWO person. You know, like they don't want or group that is like working to bring about the downfall of the New World Order. And this is like a monument to the New World Order. But I heard a fun conspiracy theory that the explosion happened by agents of the New World Order so that they could retrieve the time capsule that was buried under there.
Ooh.
Even though there was never a date carved in saying when because, you know, on the Guidestones, there's a plaque that says, here lies, not here lies, but basically like right here is a time capsule, and it says buried on, but it was never filled in. And then there's a spot to say when it was retrieved, and that, you know, it's supposed to be carved into the rock there. But so they don't even, you know, there's no proof that a time capsule even exists there or existed there. But
other than that plaque,
right. But the plaque didn't, you know, they never referenced a date, so it could have just been a plaque in anticipation of a time capsule. Because I think the original idea behind the Guidestones was that it was supposed to be like a guide after some apocalyptic event where humanity is scarce, and, you know, basically a big reset button that's done, and the remaining people are supposed to follow these guidelines, you know, which are really no one. It's never been proven who created these. The person who put everything together used a pseudonym the whole time. We did a whole episode on these, so if you don't know much about the Georgia Guidestones, you can go back and listen to that. But essentially, they are. I mean, really, it comes down to being like an art project, but it was erected in 1980, and it was commissioned in 1979 by this guy named Robert C. Christian, and it's a pseudonym. It even says on the Guidestones next to his name, RC, it says RC Christian, and then in parentheses it says pseudonym. Like, it's weird. But he went to Alberton Granite to have this thing commissioned, and the guy who was running Alberton Granite, Joe Fenley, he gave him, like, way overshot the quote, thinking that this guy was just a wacko, and if he gave him this outrageous number, then the guy would be like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. But he accepted it, and it was never revealed what the total cost was, but it was over $100,000 to construct this. But basically it was erected in 1980, and it's got four outside pillars that have a different language on each stone. So 8 languages in total. And it's English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Chinese, and Russian. And it's basically like the 10 Commandments for a new earth, but without the religious context, like just how to live peacefully on the earth. And really, like, if you look at the message, it's not a bad message. But the rule number 1 is to maintain humanity under 500 million people, and keep perpetual balance with nature. So obviously, if it's supposed to be something that's enacted now, that would be killing off over 6 billion people. And so it's supposed to be with the idea that these Guidestones are going to survive an apocalyptic event and be left here as like a learning or a reference for the new generation after the apocalypse. But isn't it ironic that these things were supposed to outlive the apocalypse, yet what seems to be a homemade bomb blew them up? Well, blew up part of it anyway.
Right. So yeah, that's the gist of the Georgia Guidestones themselves. And like Mike said, I'll try to put the episode we did on it in the show notes. But they're kind of like a cool little monument thing. I guess somebody spray painted "fuck the NWO" on them after the explosion, right?
No, that was before. They've been defaced 3 times with graffiti.
Okay.
And one said like "fuck the NWO" and "death to the New World Order" and all sorts of things. There's like a conspiracy theories like that really just span everything. There's some Christian right-wing movements that look at it as being like a center for pagan worship and also satanic practices and sun worship. There was this one woman who said that this thing exploding was the work of God, but then she like immediately follows it up with, "I'm not condoning whoever did this though." What? But and then there's the obvious New World Order conspiracy theory that this is part of the Illuminati, and it's being used for people left behind after the New World Order has some genocidal event that takes out everybody. You know, like Alex Jones has been talking about this since it blew up too, saying that this was it was a monument to the New World Order, and while he understands why someone might want to blow it up, he thinks it's important to have left it because it's essentially a confession note for a genocide that the New World Order wants to do and killing the rest of us off. Oddly enough, I didn't see anything about turning the frogs gay, but I'm sure it's got something to do with it. It's just got to have something to do with it.
So that's the connection to the New World Order is that the message pretty much presents a potential liquidation of lots of people.
Well, so let me just read the 10 Commandments, just so people, for anyone who's not familiar with it or only passingly familiar.
Oh, cool. Put some echo on.
So number 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Commandment number 2. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Commandment 3. Unite humanity with a living new language. Commandment 4.
Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason.
Commandment number 5.
Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts.
Number 6.
Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court.
Number 7.
Avoid petty laws and useless officials.
And then they should have put in parentheses in politicians because they're fucking useless and worthless. Just a waste of fucking space. If you're a politician, you suck. And that's what that should have been word for word in number 7. Number 8.
Balance personal rights with social duties.
And number 9.
Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite.
And last but not least, number 10.
Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
So that's the 10 commandments of the New World Order.
So,
But
I mean, besides the liquidation of a lot of fucking people, it's all like kind of common sense. I mean, like any high school kids seriously thought out ideas of how to make the world work right.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, it sounds a lot like the Love and Light alien stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
You know, like 11 could have been like hump your crystals on a daily basis or something. But I guess in the footage of because there's footage of the explosion, you can check it out on YouTube. But there's, I guess they have video of a car leaving the scene.
I was gonna say, if they have footage of the explosion, which I saw, it was a good explosion. They gotta have footage of somebody coming up to the thing, right?
You'd think so. Like, where's that footage? Where's the dude setting the explosive? Like, it didn't just appear there. You know, he didn't teleport in an explosion, unless it was those goddamn aliens.
Ooh,
those goddamn aliens always beaming in there, explosions, blowing shit up. I mean, it's weird because like there's no fuse or anything. Like you don't see it. It doesn't look like somebody lit something and ran away. So there had to have been some setup. Where's the fucking footage of it? Why do we have footage of the explosion but not the person setting it up?
Right. That's quite a sophisticated homemade bomb too. If that was remotely detonated,
it's because it was the goddamn lizard people. They dug a hole underground and just reached their hand up, plopped it down. The car was just coincidental. The car had nothing to do with it.
No, they're
going to track it down. It's going to be fucking some 80-year-old tourist who was just on their way through. And even though it was nighttime, they're like, well, when are we ever going to see it again?
It's the lizard people.
They stopped on their way back from Florida.
The lizards dug underneath, took the time capsule, replaced it with a bomb.
Yeah, exactly. There is no other explanation. I'll hear nothing of it. It was the goddamn lizard people. They're back at it again. They're never going to stop, Mateo.
No. There's more of them than there are of us.
It's true. For all I know, you could be a lizard person.
Did you ever think you'd see the day where somebody would blow up the Georgia Guidestones? I mean, it's fucking...
after ISIS blew up all that fucking Babylonian shit, nothing surprises me at this point.
Yeah, no kidding. To me, it's just a sign of the time. Some cuckoo bird who's fighting off the... I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that aren't fucking theories anymore. But yeah, I don't know.
I want there to be footage of Alex Jones setting the bomb, but he's completely shirtless and he's got fucking barbecue sauce just smeared across his face and on his chest. And just a wild look in his eyes. He's on a fucking whiskey and barbecue sauce bender.
Yeah.
He blows up the Georgia Guidestones. That's the world I want to live in. I want that timeline to be this one.
He has like a Wolverine Berserker barrage mode. He just gets into whiskey.
But he just flings barbecue sauce everywhere.
Gets into the whiskey and condiments and goes fucking nuts.
Yeah. He breaks the end of a bottle and sticks it between his fingers for his claws.
I must stop the New World Order.
A broken whiskey bottle in one hand, broken barbecue sauce bottle in the other. He's ready to go.
Oh, man. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if anybody else asks, where the fuck is the footage of somebody setting a bomb? We may be dealing with the same type of camera that in the story that I wanted to talk about. And it's the shittiest type of camera. But it's something that came out that I'm sure all of you saw on May 21st. The Amarillo Zoo in Amarillo, Texas, released an image captured on their security cameras that they couldn't explain. Now, you may have seen the picture and you might be thinking, oh, cool footage of something unexplainable. Well, no, you see, yet again, we're dealing with one of these shitty security systems that takes a picture like every 30 seconds. That's probably the same type of camera they had on the Guidestones, right? Like, that's why there's probably just a car there.
Well, no, because that's not pictures, though. Like, that's actual video footage of the thing exploding.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Even if it was motion activated, you'd have someone walking up there would activate it.
Yeah. Well, the Amarillo Zoo's cameras sucked, and they just took pictures every 30 seconds. But the internet was flooded with this image a few days later in early June. Now, Mike, had you seen this image before I sent it to you without describing it?
Yep, I saw it when it was making the rounds.
What did you think of it when you saw it?
Honestly, it just looked like somebody wearing a mask.
Okay, I kind of laughed it off too. It looks just like the aliens from that Parent Swap episode of Monsters that we watched.
I didn't make that connection, but that's fucking great.
Okay, so can you describe for everybody what this picture shows?
It shows a humanoid thing with an animal sort of head, and that's about it. And it looks like there's some motion blur there, like whatever it was moving when the picture was taken. And you can't really discern anything clearly. It's swamp gas, essentially.
It's clearly something walking on two legs. It's upright, and it's covered in fur. It's got what to me looks like what they're saying widely looks like a dog-like head. They're calling it a werewolf. But like I said, when I first saw it, I started to laugh. But after a few days of everybody throwing their 2 cents in on what it could be, I kind of stopped laughing. It was the same old excuses. It's a puppet. It's a Halloween prop or costume, maybe even a stunt. And it's all the shit I'm fucking so tired of hearing about. And I never dreamed in 2022 that people would be so skeptical. I mean, it's a costume is the only thing these people say nowadays. I feel if it's not CGI, it's a costume. It's all kind of old. But what I find interesting in this picture after a couple of days of looking at it is that its size. If you look at the picture, it seems to be maybe 3 feet tall. I mean, is it an anorexic little person in a Halloween costume? Is it a kid in a Halloween costume?
Well, it's hard to say though, because it's standing in front of a fence. And I mean, those fences could be 9 feet, they could be 12 feet. If it's a zoo, I would imagine it's not going to be a standard, your standard backyard chain link fence. I would say at minimum it's going to be a 9-foot fence. So if it's at 9 foot, then this thing it's bending at its knees, so it's kind of crouched a little bit, and it looks like it could be 5 feet, could be 6 feet. It's all depending on where the distance it was on the other side of the fence, because with no real background you can't really tell exactly how close it is. Like, it looks like it's probably within a few feet of the fence, but we also don't know the distance from the camera either. But I don't know. I've heard it also described as a skinwalker.
Mm-hmm. Everything's a fucking skinwalker these days, too.
Yeah, skinwalker is the new chupacabra.
Yeah. Well, they took it seriously enough to send a report and the image to the director of Park and Recreation Department. So, I mean, as a park, it seems like they had some concerns for safety, maybe, or some type of inquiry of what to do next, probably. But this happened in October. Yeah. I would.
Was it really in October?
No. If it did happen in October, I believe it to be more of some sort of costume or a hoax. But this is like at the start of summer. I think the zoo could get into major trouble for inciting maybe panic or civil unrest if it was some type of stunt.
I don't think it would be the zoo that would be initiating it. If anything, it could just be someone wanting to fuck with primates or something, you know? They're like, oh, I'm going to wear a mask and I'm going to fucking hoot and holler at the fence and see if I can get animals to yell back at me or something. You know, people are fucking idiots. Like, you can never say something is too stupid for a person to do, because people are fucking morons and they do dumb shit just for the sake of doing dumb shit. So, especially college kids, dumbest population on earth. I'm sorry, college kids, if you're listening. When you get old, you'll realize that you were the dumbest person on earth at that point in time, because it's true. Between the age of like 16 and probably 25, you're a fucking idiot. And you do fucking idiot things. And we all did it. And me as a fucking old geezer, I can say that I was also a fucking idiot. And, you know, I'm still a fucking idiot. But I was really a fucking idiot back then, doing all sorts of stupid shit. And hopefully you're doing stupid shit and being a fucking idiot too, because that's, you know, part of growing up. But that being said, you have to be a moron before you can grow up. And all it takes is someone with enough alcohol and people egging them on and, you know, just being a moron, and you'll do some stupid shit like that. I used to drive around and do drive-bys with super soakers. No reason, just to be a fucking stupid asshole idiot.
Yeah, people are quick to call stuff a stunt and as well. You know, this is a zoo. This is a family-friendly place that's like beholden to rules and regulations that were put in place to keep people safe. And I don't think an image and a report of an unknown predator, you know, is really going to drive parents to rush their kids to the general vicinity where this thing's being seen. It's not a monolith. It's not a clown wearing.
Yeah, but it was seen in one single frame of a picture on the outside of a fence at a zoo. So it's really and it was at night. So it's really nothing to be alarmed about. It was, you know, maybe it was a multi-dimensional creature, maybe it was a ghost, maybe it was a skinwalker, maybe it was an asshole college kid wearing a mask.
I think it's awfully thin to be that. I mean, you can definitely tell it's a creature and it's walking upright. It's not natural for sure, but I think it's too small to be an adult in a costume. It would be very stupid and scary publicity stunt, since I think it's the zoo itself that posted the tweet that showed the photo. And they even asked for help identifying it, which is a little weird, but there's nothing more reported that I know. And it's not like Texas is a fucking stranger to cryptids, right?
No, certainly not.
Not at all. That's good Texas cryptid land there. That's the home of the Goat Man, the Ozark Howler, and I don't know if you remember that gargoyle seen by the NASA employee we covered back in our gargoyle episode.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That was in Texas. There's a lot of black-eyed kid sightings, Men in Black sightings, and plenty of Bigfoot and Sasquatch sightings that go on there. But one I came across reading up on that article was a creature that I don't think we've covered. It's called the Lake Worth Monster. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
This is a fun one. It was first reported in July of 1969 by a pair of couples that had parked near Lake Worth to do what couples do at lakes during the night when they park by them.
Sing show tunes?
Practice math tests.
Yeah, that's what I always did.
Work out.
Yeah, you got to get the squat thrusts in, and that's a perfect place to do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, but what they reported seeing was a giant goat-like man covered in white fur and fish scales.
What?
Yeah.
White fur and fish scales. So it was the personification of Capricorn?
Ooh, that's an interesting link there, sir.
How else would you... what? That's so fucking weird.
It is, right? Well, shortly after, newspaper reporter Jim Mars ran a front page story titled, quote, "Fishy Goat Man Terrifies Couples Parked at Lake Worth." Some before the article was published and some after, reports of sightings came in from damn near everyone.
Just about the time man, in all his wisdom, decides that he has this world and everything in it all figured out, along comes something he can't explain. Take the recent reports of the Lake Worth monster, or creature, or whatever you want to call it. Some who have seen it say it looks like a half man, half goat. Others, who are a little more conservative, describe it a little differently.
Well, it was about 7 foot tall, weighed about 350 pounds, and it was hairy, and I couldn't see his face. It was in the dark.
There's a report that it has scales, too. Did you notice that?
I was so scared I didn't see nothing like that.
You said it took the tire off your pickup. What did it do?
No, it was not the tar off in our pickup. It was in a sand pit that they dug dirt from, and he threw a tar some 400 to 500 feet. And the police that looked at the tar in the back of the car said that it had to come off from a pickup. We didn't have no pickup there, so we had a Rambler, little Rambler out there.
Did it look like he was throwing the tire at somebody, or...?
They'd thrown it at everybody, about 40 people.
This is the place, near the Greer Island Wildlife Refuge, where Harris allegedly saw the creature, or monster, or whatever you choose to call it.
It was up there on those cliffs, and it'd stay up there running back and forth. And it wouldn't run the whole distance around. It just run halfway around it and halfway back, and it wouldn't run through the trail that was up there. It'd run through the edge of the cliff that was pretty rugged and had a lot of weeds and trees around it, and I couldn't see how no human could really get through there as fast as it could.
The skeptical say it's a man in a monkey suit, but some say it can't be, that no man is that big, or that strong, or could make so hideous a sound. At any rate, something happened out here last night, and so tonight there will be more people back, armed with cameras and probably with rifles. And this causes apprehension, particularly for police who say that, monster or no, if there are very many rifles here, somebody might get hurt. Jerry Taff, Channel 8 News, at Lake Worth.
So it's a goat fish man that climbs trees and throws tires.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you heard them talk about was a group of people, about 40 of them, who were presumably out looking for the monster. They said that a tire was thrown at them from a bluff some 400 feet away. In October of 1969, a man named Alan Plaster managed to snap a photo of the monster. Although,
and is it something that you can make out, or is it a white blur like the goat man picture?
I'll send it to you right now so you can tell me. Although reports say that he did not share the image himself, but by a lady whom he gave the photo to, a Sally Ann Clark, who went on to who went public with it in a book she published that same year called The Lake Worth Monster. So as you can see, I mean, it's real shaggy for any Bigfoot that I've seen described.
Dude, that could just be some large individual wearing something hairy.
Very true, very true. But
there's nothing distinguishing this. I don't see any scales. I want to see a fishtail, damn it.
But this is being seen by a lot of people. I mean, they're all saying that it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's the fact that it was seen by multiple witnesses and caused damage, and multiple people saw it throwing tires and doing crazy shit. That to me makes it more believable than that picture, because that picture could be anything.
Right. Well, by September, all reports had stopped. But some 20 years later, a local news crew revisited Lake Worth to reinvestigate reports of the monster given back in 1969, even interviewing some of the original witnesses. During their investigation, they discovered that a local man had come forward and claimed responsibility for the tire throwing incident. They even have a picture of him standing next to a tire explaining what he did. Yeah.
What'd he do?
Just threw it at the people who were... He was on top of that bluff. He said he rolled it down.
Why? What was the purpose? Just to be an asshole?
Yeah.
Wow. What a dick.
But he rolled it down the bluff, and there was like a dip at the bottom. So he said it shot up into the air, so it looked like it came flying from the top of the bluff. And second, they came across some people who admitted to putting on, quote, a gorilla suit and staging the whole thing. My problem with that is that nobody reported seeing a gorilla. And like I was many people reported fish scales. Did this gorilla shoot come with fish scales? Did they put them on? Were any of them 7 feet tall? Could any of them as teenagers put on said suit and run through the woods at 7 feet tall as quickly as it was reported by people? And were they in league with the dude who took the photo? There's other people that they talked to that said there was no way it was a bunch of kids in a suit when they went back and reinvestigated. But sightings continued scarcely and sporadically, the most recent being in 2012, believe it or not.
That was the most recent?
Yeah.
And have there been any more violent incidents, or just people seeing a white, shaggy, scaly thing?
Yeah, just sightings.
He's getting tired in his old age. He's like, you know what? I just don't have it in me anymore, guys. No more tire throwing for me. I'm just gonna kind of wander the woods. And now he's all like out of it. He's probably got dementia, trying to relive the glory days when he could throw tires 400 feet off a cliff.
It's a weird color for something to be living in, like, a very wooded area. I mean, it's bright white.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know about this one. I like it, though. I like it.
Me too. I think if it looked like a gorilla, that's what the witnesses would have said. I mean, it's 1969.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, Bigfoot was a thing.
Very well known in the area. Yeah, they would have said it was a white Bigfoot or Sasquatch. But they specifically said goat. Man, goat, man. And that's goat man's territory. Maybe they were seeing an aquatic goat man.
He evolved scales to live in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it, man. I've never heard of it, but I want more modern sightings. If you live in Texas and you've seen this beast, please let us know.
Tell us your tale. We got a message sent to us, a post on Instagram from our buddy Jason Thornley. And it's pretty interesting. I don't know much about the YouTube world, so when I came across it, I asked my kids, and they knew who this guy was, but it's a dude named Coyote Peterson, and basically...
Yeah, love that guy.
Everybody, my kids love the guy. Apparently, he's the dude that lets all manner of fucking bugs bite and sting him, I guess.
Yeah, all sorts of things he lets bite and sting him. Yeah, he went on, a few years back, he went on a quest to find the top... The one that are on the highest pain index, the ants and wasps, and get stung by all of them. And he succeeded in doing it.
Wow.
Fucking crazy, man. Yeah.
Okay, well, Mike, could you just read the caption he has in this post? Because it's very intriguing. I don't know. We'll talk about what we think about it, but I don't know if you got to read his words here.
So if you go to Coyote Peterson's Instagram, you're going to see this picture of a skull embedded in muddy water. And you go through and it shows him like clearing it off in the woods. But his post says, breaking news, leaking pics here before they are taken down and before the government officials try to cease our, I think it should say seize, but try to cease our footage. Found a large primate skull in British Columbia, filmed it, cut the footage, releasing it on Brave Wilderness this weekend. Have kept this secret for several weeks. Yes, I have the skull. It's currently in a secure location awaiting primatologist review. Absolutely unreal. We thought it was a bear skull when we found it. I can 100% guarantee it is not. The skull was found partially buried underground in deep back forest ravine after a massive storm in the Pacific Northwest, where clearly a bunch of trees and earth were disturbed. I'm sure these pics will be taken down, as will probably the video, by government or state park officials, but the skull is safe. I don't know if it is what you all think it might be, but I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pacific Northwest without wondering. What do you believe?
Okay, before we respond, I want to note that that's edited.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he originally said that. He said, yes, I have the skull. I snuck it through customs and got it past the TSA. And then went on to say it's currently in a secure location, which kind of makes me think if he's trying to cover his tracks logistically like that, maybe he actually has it. Maybe he's onto something. But
the thing is, like, he's not a guy who needs this sort of publicity. Like, he's got a very popular YouTube channel, and I'm sure he makes plenty of money doing that. He doesn't need, like, if anything, starting to go down this road is going to hurt the brand that he's established, because his thing is like teaching people about animals and nature and things like that. Like, he doesn't go off on cryptid hunts and do shit like that. Like, that's not what Coyote Peterson does.
okay, see, I was going to ask, just is him wandering around the Pacific Northwest out of place for what he does?
No, he goes to all sorts of different locations and films like the animals there, and usually, like, if you go to his channel, usually his stuff will center around one location or one animal. And so it's not weird that he'd be roaming around the woods in British Columbia. He's probably looking for something specific. There's probably a reason he was up there. And then it's not Bigfoot. He's not up there hunting Bigfoot.
Right. And we can all agree there should be no primates in British Columbia.
No, unless it's like it very well could be an ancient hominid skull.
Right. It looks pretty fucking good, though. I mean, it's really clean and preserved.
Right.
Freshly. I mean, it wasn't like 20 feet deep where an ancient skull would be, like a Gigantopithecus skull.
Right. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more about this.
Yeah, me too. I need a boost in Bigfoot faith. I mean, this seems interesting. I find it strange that it's been edited and he took away the admission of sneaking it through customs.
And by the time the show comes out, he will have already had the video out. He said he's releasing it this weekend. So if you're not familiar with Brave Wilderness, check it out. And, by the time you hear this, it's going to be out there. So
is he the host of that show, or is that a show he works with? Or
nope, that's his channel. He's the guy.
Damn, I really feel like a geezer. Even you knew who this dude was.
Yeah, it's not one of those channels that's just like, the kids are into it. It's entertaining, but it's educational. He talks about all sorts of different animals, and it's not just crazy guy getting bit and stung by stuff. That's not every video. It's just some of the videos.
Okay, see, that's like my daughter was like, the dude who, you heard of the dude who lets shit sting and bite him? I was like, yeah, I've seen clips of that. And she goes, it's that dude. So I thought that was just his like whole thing.
No, I mean, that's a big part of what he does, because what he wants to show is like, just because they are, just because they can hurt you doesn't mean that they're scary. So, but I don't really know why he wanted to get stung by everything other than just to say he did it. Like, yeah, I got stung by a bullet ant. But yeah, it's a very entertaining channel.
Well, I mean, what was that other dude? Was it, God damn it. I don't know these dudes' names, but it was that other survival show dude he went on Joe Rogan talking about how he had some weird encounter.
Oh, Les Stroud?
Yeah, what did you think about his
Love
story?
That dude.
Yeah, you like that guy?
Yeah, huge Les Stroud fan. I loved Survivor, man. Like, that dude's hardcore, man. He really did all that shit by himself. Just him, a camera, and a multi-tool, and sometimes a harmonica. Dude was legit.
What did you think about his Bigfoot story? Did you see the Rogan interview?
The one where he was saying when he was in, I think he said Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, what does he have to gain from that, telling that story? He has nothing to gain from that.
That's
He's the fucking survivor, man, Like, he's telling stories about him backpacking in the woods and camping by himself and doing all this crazy shit. He doesn't need to talk about like, and it's not even like a sensational story. You know, he didn't see anything. He just heard what sounded like an ape in the woods.
Oh, so weird. Really drives home the out of place feeling of a Bigfoot sighting. Like more so than, of course, that creature shouldn't be there, but to find a skull in British Columbia or to hear, I mean, we all know what monkeys, apes, we all know what they sound like. We all fucking grow up as little babies making animal sounds, as learning how to talk. And we've all gone ooh, 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 and made all those types of sounds. And to hear somebody say they heard that somewhere in Alaska, it's just even more strange.
Yeah, it really is, because there shouldn't be anything that makes a primate noise in Alaska.
I don't know, man. Do you think people are cutting Bigfoot too short? Do you think Bigfoot's realm got cluttered with bad TV shows and impatient people?
Yeah, but you know, it's like any of that shit. It gets popular, and there's like 27 shows, and then there's nothing. You know, like right now we're in the age of the skinwalker, so it's like everything is skinwalker and UAPs. That's where we're at now. Nobody's got time for Bigfoot and Loch Ness. Fuck out of here with that shit. You got UAPs and skinwalkers, Mateo.
There's a podcast that I love to listen to, and they're doing a really deep dive into the weird side of Skinwalker Ranch. There's a lot of people doing Skinwalker Ranch stuff now, and I just wish your story, I mean, I think you checked and your story on their official website was taken down. I think you emailed them and tried to tell them.
I think that website itself is no longer existent.
Oh, really? Wasn't it skinwalker.gov? Just that?
No, I think it was, hold on, let me check if it's still up. 1 second. Yeah, it was skinwalkerranch.com, but the website is all different now that Brandon Fugel, I think his name Brandon Fugel, now that he owns it. The website's very different.
Okay.
But I'm going to click stories just to see if it's on there. Oh my God. Oh wait, no, never mind. I got super pumped.
Oh God, I almost had
no, it is on there. It is on there.
It is?
It's still on there, yeah. Skinwalkerranch.com stories back in the mid-90s.
Holy shit. Oh my God. Can you refresh maybe some newer listeners to what we're talking about?
I read the story on our YouTube channel if you want to look it up, but so basically for any new listeners that haven't heard me relate this story before, about probably 10 years ago, I was really bored.
It's got to
at
be
work
longer
one
than
day.
that. We've been doing the show almost 10 years.
Yeah. Let's say 11 years then. It was probably a year before we started the show that I did this.
Okay. I didn't know it was that recent to start.
Yeah. So I was really bored at work, and I don't really remember the exact reason behind it, but I wrote this story where, well, it wasn't even really a story. It was a series of posts on a website called Fantasy Tour. And I was on the message boards, and I don't know, I just started writing this story, just bullshitting people about me working on the Skinwalker Ranch. And I basically explained that I worked there, and just went into like these experiences I had while I was on the ranch. In the story, I had worked there from 2003 to 2005, and just like I worked in there intermittently, and oh man, just a bunch of stupid shit. And someone collected all of that and submitted it to the Skinwalker Ranch website, and now it's on there, and the story, and they even have it broken down by post, like they put 8th post.
Oh my God, really?
Post. Yeah, so there were 11 posts total.
Oh my God, yeah, so they have it up there as testimony.
Yeah.
Can't believe, I wonder if all these people doing all this Skinwalker Ranch stuff, I want to spend 2 days on YouTube and watch everything I can to see if your story...
Right, see if someone... So that's really fucking weird to me that this is still on there, and And I even used the name that they used in the Skinwalker book, because it's the Sherman Ranch is what it was, but in the book they were referred to as the Gorman family. And like I posted this whole thing like with the backstory before I even got into my stuff, and it's fucking hilarious. I can't believe that this is up there. So somewhere, someone doing research for this is getting my bullshit story and using that as testimony.
Yeah, don't hate on Mike. I remember when we came across this. This is way back when we did our first episode on the Skinwalker Ranch years ago, and Mike came across it, and I remember you reaching out and emailing them and telling them that, and they never even responded. So we did everything we could.
Response.
That's hilarious. I can't believe it's still there.
I know. It's so funny. So yeah, if you go to skinwalkerranch.org and then click on stories at the top of the webpage, it's the third story down.
Is it .org or .com?
Oh, that's weird. It's .com, but if you click one link on there, it'll take you to skinwalkerranch.org/something. But so you click skinwalkerranch.com, click on stories, and then back in the mid-90s. And then when you click back in the mid-90s, it takes you to skinwalkerranch.org/fascinating stories, blah, blah, blah. And there's my story.
Wow. Okay.
But it's the same website. So I don't know why it jumps from com to org, but
that's strange. Does. Yeah, I remember the original story being on .org.
Yeah, and that's .com now.
And that was like the official website for Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, this is still the official website of the ranch. And they've got like links to Ryan Skinner books and like whole bunch of shit. Have you watched the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch show?
I don't think so.
All right, well we'll have to talk about that sometime because it's actually pretty decent. I'm halfway through season 2 right now. It's on Hulu.
Okay,
but it's a History Channel show. But the reason I ask is they've got this guy on the ranch, Travis Taylor. Dr. Travis Taylor, he's a astrophysicist, and he's there doing experiments with the research team on the ranch. But he just got, they just added him to the official government team researching UAPs as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Patreon watch along.
Yeah, that could be the next series we do.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Skinwalker Ranch, I don't remember how we got here when we were talking about the news, but Skinwalker fucking Ranch.
Back in the early 90s.
Thank you for listening to the Whatcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. Enjoy the podcast. Get yourself a Whatcast t-shirt or a sticker pack. Who was that dude on that one episode? Try the links in Homie's page. All this and more can be found at www.thewhatcasters.com. Thanks again for listening and have a great week.